We are like as Heru, Shemsu, followers of Heru, the son, S-O-N, and daughter, like as Heru. We are striving to be like as the image and likeness of our Heavenly Father, the Creator. Heru is the Messu, the Krst, the eternal child in the age of Taurus, and later biblically appearing and biblically called Jesus the Christ in the age of Pisces. We must remember that the one in the same Heru Messu leads us throughout the ages eternally. However, beloveds, it is in this Piscean Christianized reappearance that, and the one named Jesus the Christ, that much confusion and trauma has been caused by the images depicted and the doctrine imposed. And as the documentary produced by Tariq Nasheed, The Religion of White Supremacy, details, and that I, along with Professor Small and others, were featured, that the Piscean Age, the age of the fishes, and even the age before, the age of Aries, the lamb, the ram, begin the ages that have precipitated a white supremacist, fragilist paradigm that has gripped our planet with traumatic impacts to the world's inhabitants. The Messu Heru is the one and the same ever-coming one in each age, imbued with the energy of that age. Each age is the renewing of sustenance after suffering, drought, darkness, diminishment, degradation within us as the son, daughter, or what would come to be described as sin in this Piscean Age Christian dispensation. Imhotep, African family. And in the spirit of our ancestors, may I have permission to speak? Thank you, Dua'u, in granting so. I am Dr. Nteri Nelson, a KeMetaphysician, licensed clinician and educator, and co-founder of the Academy of Kemetic Education and Wellness. And I must share with each and every one of you that I am in the wider world community, African world community, that I am so delighted to and honored to have the invitation to be a part of this amazing, amazing conference, the 2023 ASCAC, the Association for the Study of Classical African Civilizations Conference. The title of my presentation is Astrological Age, Aquarius Hapi, the Evercoming Heru Messu Sun-Son, S-U-N, S-O-N, Receiving Sustenance. Once again, beloveds, my title is The Astrological Age of Aquarius Hapi, the Evercoming Heru Messu Sun-Son, Receiving Sustenance. As we begin, our African oral and written traditions, as recorded in the pyramid text, the Pertim Ru, and the Medjanetia language, give instruction in order to restore our memory as timekeepers, teaching us to be expectant in each astrological age, a 2,160-year cycle of time. In a world where Europeans once saw the earth as flat and separated astronomy and astrology, I make reference here to a work by Giorgio Santillana and Hertha von Dershent in their book, Hamlet's Mill, an essay on myth and the frame of time, published in 1969. Because here is a clearer truth-telling moment of proper attribution to the greatness and brilliance of African people. They note the Kemites recognize the importance of the heliactically rising constellations as markers for the astrological ages, and knowledge of this phenomenon had been known by them thousands of years previously. They state that to understand ancient thinking, it is necessary to understand astrology. Beloveds, once again, to understand ancient thinking, it is necessary to understand astrology, not the modern sun sign of horoscopic astrology, but the astrology of ancient times. And what I'm going to do, beloveds, is I'm going to just hold up some images to move more fluidly through this presentation. And later I'll share my screen and show these images and more. Beloveds, we are now living between two astrological ages and are dimensionally shifting from the Piscean Age to the age of Aquarius Hapi. And I hold up this image here to show the fishes of Pisces, the symbolism, and the water bearer of symbolism of the age of Aquarius. And this presentation addresses the question, how do we receive sustenance from the sun, the S-U-N, and the son, the S-O-N? How can we be poised and expectant? And what is promised? Three key instructions are given by our African ancestors of the Nile Valley Civilization to address these questions. Two of these instructions are on discerning the sun, the S-U-N, and the S-O-N, the sun. The third instruction answers what is promised. Let us begin with first discerning the S-U-N. And I hold up, beloveds, a diagram perhaps very familiar to you and the general audience. This is the diagram showing that our African ancestors charted the stars, that they have given us the zodiac, which was carved in the temple of Dendera, showing us the 12 constellational signs, which likewise make up the ages. The sun, the S-U-N, is passing through. And I'll hold up this next image to show you that here we can see the ages pictured here. And each age is a 2,160-year cycle of time. And we can begin to go around this circle. For example, we can start with the age of Leo, which happened approximately 10,949 years ago, roughly 11,000 years ago. And again, all of these dates need to be reconciled because there's slight differences in dates. But we can see all the constellational signs here in this image here. And we can, for example, we can go from the constellation of Leo to see the constellation of Kepra, or also called Cancer, the constellation of Shu and Tefnut, or Gemini, and then we can come to this constellation of the Bull, Taurus, the Bull, and so on, all around the 12. Now, for example, we see here the age of Taurus, which happened approximately 4,420 BCE. Again, there is reconciling in these dates by some measure. And it would be in this time frame, this age, beloveds, that we would have seen the development of the Kemetic calendar, the rule of King Namur, the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And each age is a 2,160-year cycle of time. And in dividing this circle of 360 degrees, there are 30 degrees. 30 degrees are assigned to each age or sign. And the precession from an Earth or geocentric perspective is the sun ticking through each degree, which is a 72-year period. And 30 times 72 equals 2,160 years for each age. And when multiplied by 12 signs equals a precessional cycle through 25,920 years, a great age, a great year or cycle of time. And from Taurus, this constellational sign, we can see that we have moved in the precession of the sun through the sign of Aries, and now moving to and through the sign of Pisces, and we are just at the tail end of Pisces and at the cusp of entering the age of Aquarius. Now, there are varying dates projected for the start of the Aquarian age, or Age of Hapi. Some that it's already started, 2012, 2020, 2150, and so on. And why is this? Because there is approximately 150-degree orb with the ending of one age and the beginning of the next. Similarly, like on a smaller scale, if we looked at the cycle of the seasons, where we move from winter to spring, we're coming to what we think is the tail end of winter, and we have a more spring-like day, and we go out with less clothes on, and the next thing we know, it's snowing again, and we have to put more clothing back on because we're not quite fully in that shift where we can say it is fully spring. And likewise, on a larger scale, we have this same mixture, not of climate, but of astrological energies as we move from the Piscean to the fully into the age of Aquarius Hapi. So the first instruction is that of our ancestors is that we receive the sustenance of the renewing sun, Ra, the S-U-N, which we saw rise on the eastern horizon this morning, which is our local representative of our, as above, so below is above, which is our local representative of our cosmic sun, the universe in total. The sun is now in early beginnings of being qualified, imbued, colored by the constellational energies of Aquarius. And an African Renaissance or re-ascension guiding our actions, institutions, teachings, and teachers in this cycle, which heralds a spiritual rebirth. We must know and receive the sustenance of these inpouring astrological energies. And time only allows me to give this instruction, but does not allow me to go further than the briefest of detail. Our next instruction the ancestors have given us is that this spiritual rebirth simultaneously marks or heralds the reappearance of the ever-coming one, Heru, the elder, the sun, the S-O-N, the sun that is co-eternal with as the cosmic sun, Ra, S-U-N, again qualified, imbued, colored by the constellational energies of Aquarius. Likewise, an African Renaissance and reascension guiding our actions, institutions, teachings, and teachers in this cycle. In this same instance, our African ancestors have given us instruction in the portrayed, and that we may know the S-O-N. And I begin with this image here, where we have, we see the entry into the Hall of Amenta, the Hall of Judgment, where Ani, who is you, who is me, is coming before the scales in the weighing of the heart ceremony, that his heart, my heart, your heart may be found as light as a feather, because we have lived in accord with the laws of Ma'at. And I'll just hold up those laws. And we can find these laws in our divine sacred text, the Portrayed, the book of coming forth by day after night. The next image is in the Hall of Amenta, the Hall of Judgment, is where we see Ani whose heart has been found as light as a feather, is brought before the Neb Lord of the world, or Sir. We see Ani held by the hand of Heru, who is the son of Osir. So we have Ani led by the hand by Heru, the son of Osir, and Heru is the Messu, the Krst. And he is being led, Ani is being led by Heru to come before the Neb, Lord of the world, Osir. Led by the hand by Heru. Heru is holding the hand of Ani, who is you, who was me. And Heru is the Messu. Heru is the Krst. And let us remember here that Heru is within us, guiding us in aligning personal will with divine will, so that we make the good and perfect decisions moment to moment as we live our lives in accord with the laws of Ma'at. We are like as Heru, Shemsu, followers of Heru, the son, S-O-N, and daughter, like as Heru. We are striving to be like as the image and likeness of our Heavenly Father, the Creator. Heru is the Messu, the Krst-Christ, the eternal child in the age of Taurus, and later biblically appearing and biblically called Jesus the Christ in the age of Pisces. We must remember that the one in the same Heru Messu leads us throughout the ages eternally. However, beloveds, it is in this Piscean Christianized reappearance that, and the one named Jesus the Christ, that much confusion and trauma has been caused by the images depicted and the doctrine imposed. And as the documentary produced by Tariq Nasheed, The Religion of White Supremacy, details, and that I, along with Professor Small and others, were featured, that the Piscean Age, the age of the fishes, and even the age before, the age of Aries, the lamb, the ram, begin the ages that have precipitated a white supremacist, fragilist paradigm that has gripped our planet with traumatic impacts to the world's inhabitants. The Messu Heru is the one and the same ever-coming one in each age, imbued with the energy of that age. Each age is the renewing of sustenance after suffering, drought, darkness, diminishment, degradation within us as the son, daughter, or what would come to be described as sin in this Piscean Age Christian dispensation. Many African diaspora have reached back to the age of Taurus to locate themselves, recollect, remember their greatness in prior ages. This has been an important regathering of sustenance. What is at work is the work at hand in order for us to move forward in this Wahemi Messu, the African Renaissance. That work is to continue to heal from Maafa and subtract out the traumatic impact of a white supremacist, fragilist paradigm that has manifested in this age, in order that we may gather the sustenance of the Piscean Age and take stock of and garner the strengths, the treasures that we have gained in this prior age. Foremost of these strengths is vision, faith, imani, in service to our Creator, remaining a loving people through loveless conditions, remaining true to the laws of Ma'at, and like the eloquent peasant farmer, remaining in nature, good speech, and activism, proclaiming the right of justice, truth, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, righteousness for the inhabitants of earth. What is the work at hand in order for us to move forward in this Wahemi Messu, the African Renaissance, in the dawning age of Hapi, Aquarius? Let us be expectant and open to receive the renewing sustenance and energy of the sun, the S-U-N, and the sun, the S-O-N, the Messu, the Evercoming ONE, Heru, as co-eternal with as the sun, the age of Aquarius Hapi, in innovative, universalizing energy that will shatter the white supremacist, fragilist paradigms, old form institutions and teachings, and spiritually wash away the muck and the mire and bring the human family closer in a unitive consciousness that will work together to cart away the rubble of the old form while building anew in accord with Ma'at, Medju Nefer, throughout the ages eternally. What do we need to remember today in these troubled times as things continue to spiral out of control in the world? As we embrace these two instructions, let us ponder, how are we more like as the sun, the S-O-N, and son, S-O-N, daughter in this age? How are we becoming more Heru Messu Sun-like? What needs to happen in us, in our equipment, our constitution, both human and divine, that we may be the high energy vibration that can bear up in the awesome presence and stand before the Deb Lord of the world. As we live in accord with the laws of Ma'at, that we may be expectant. The third instruction answers what is promised, that we have a promise of eternal life, like as the sun, the S-U-N, the S-O-N, daughter, we will overcome death, bondage, and form. As we turn to our third and final instruction, it would appear to have been given here in this Piscean age, Christian dispensation as, and I want to share my screen here, if I may, from Revelation 21, 3 and 4, we read, "With that I heard a loud voice from the throne." Here we see a throne. "Look, the tent of God." Well, this has this canopy looking like a tent. "The tent of God is with mankind, and he will reside with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them. And he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be any more. The former things have passed away." And from Psalms 37:29, we read, "The righteous will possess the earth, and they will live forever on it." However, beloveds, our African ancestors of the Nile Valley had already long ago given these instructions in prior ages. And we see here in the Pertimbru, in chapter 22, on page 26, we read, "If be known this," and let me just see if I can share my screen here. "If be known this book upon earth, and it be done into the writing upon the coffin, my mouth it is. He shall come forth by day." Me, you, Ani, he shall come forth by day in forms of existence, all forms of existence, which he pleases, and he shall go in to his place, and not shall he be repulsed. Shall be given to him, me, you, Ani, cakes, beer, meat of flesh upon the altar of Osir. He shall go in peace to Saketanru, to no command this of the one in Tetahu. Shall be given to him wheat and barley in it. There shall be with him green things, such as were with him upon earth. He shall perform his will, like those gods who are in the underworld, in the bond of regularity millions of times, Osir, the scribe, Ani. And what is the Saketanru? The field of the Anru plants was a name originally given to the island in the delta where the souls of the dead were supposed to live. Here was the abode of the god, the Neb Asur, who bestowed estates in it upon those who had been his followers. And here the beautified living led a new existence and regulated themselves upon food of every kind, which was given to them in abundance, according to the vignette of this chapter. In regard to the Saketanru, the third division of the Seketetapu, or field of peace. May we remember the instruction of our African ancestors of the Nile Valley as we receive the renewing, revitalizing energies and rebirth of Ujah.